Hey YouTube, hope you had a good Easter long weekend if you celebrate. And this will be the first time that I open Pokemon Go maybe in a week. Holy smokes. So no Spring Cup, finally done after 2 weeks. No Ultra League. I mean, Ultra League and Master League are on if you're playing those, but we are not playing that. We are playing Great League. And here are the new rankings. So we're gonna go over a couple old teams, but mostly focus on Tinkaton. Because it is the new Pokemon. It is ranked 7 in the Great League. People will be all excited to use it. You could have used it in the Spring Cup, but like who's playing Spring Cup after 2 weeks? So we're going to focus on the rankings. A team with Jumpluff, the new #1 Pokemon, a team with Tinkaton, and then the old teams. So in terms of the rankings, most have not changed. The biggest one is Jumpluff, and it has Acrobatics. Now, a couple people have already used Aerial Ace Acrobatics as the with Shadow Jumpluff, and it's just because Acrobatics does like an insane amount of damage for the speed, right? It only takes 14 to get to an Acrobatics, but it does like with Shadow 156 or something stupid amount of damage. So it's an absolute nuke, and you don't need a Grass move. I mean, Grass move would be nice, like against like a Gastrodon, like double super effective. So Grass knot would be nice, but Jumpluff with the Acrobatics sims better with the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is quick to get to, only 10. A nice little bait move there, and then Acrobatics nukes everything out. And the nuke is worth the trade-off of not having the Grass. So that is why it's the top-ranked Pokemon. Has bulk, has a lot of answers to like the ground and a lot of the main meta. Don't really need to worry about fire, some rock, but not really. So it really has a huge advantage. So that's why it jumped in 1, but then you have your normal Clodsire, Mandibuzz, Malamar, Corsola, Lapras, Dusclops, Sableye, Dusknoir, Feraligatr, all old. Tinkaton, I should say. Number 7. So I played with it in the Spring Cup. Now, so people kind of rightly point out, mine has a 15 attack because it was the only egg that I hatched. People have suggested that because it's such a high IV, you're not getting the bulk. Because what I found with it was you actually take more damage than I thought you would. And the moves are okay, but not amazing. Was how I kind of felt like it. But it gets by on its insane typing. Steel Fairy is an insane typing in this meta. So I think it'll have play. I think it'll do pretty well. But when you look at the sims, there's just a lot of things that beat it, right? Specifically like ground and stuff, like your Clodsires, your Diggersby, like just all the ground. And then stuff that's going to resist, like Heavy Slam is resisted by water. So anything that's like steel, play rough, Heavy Slam, it will be resisted by steel all around. So there's just a couple things that just beat you, right? So just be aware if you're going to use that, but you should get a healthy dose of it. Otherwise, speaking about steel, that's why I think Corviknight even went up a little bit. I think Corviknight went up for 2 reasons. Even though I still think maybe it's not overrated anymore. It depends what the meta is. Number 1 is Jumpluff with Aerial Ace Acrobatics. Steel, you resist. Sludge Bomb, Earthquake on Clodsire. Steel, you resist. Play Rough, Heavy Slam on Tinkaton. You resist as steel, right? So Corviknight has that steel flying, also unique typing, which it'll get a little bump up because of how the meta is going to shape up, right? So if you see a lot of Jumpluff, you see a lot of Tinkaton, Corviknight automatically now, it resists all that. You have Sand Attack. Again, you have no charge moves. Sky Attack and Iron Head. Wait, no, Tinkaton is Fairy. That's never mind. Iron Head actually hits neutral there. And Sky Attack super effective on Jumpluff. Plus you have the super effective Sand Attack for Tinkaton, right? So it could actually have more play this time around. I may have to give it another I did not like using Corviknight. But you know what? I think the meta may shift a little bit. And you resist Psywave too. I think the meta is shifting enough that Corviknight may actually have more play. Even though I don't even know if I probably don't have a team on it because I don't think I've used it in like a season and a half. I think it was overrated, quite honestly, for a while there. But the rest of it, yeah, Feraligatr, Weezing, Shadow Weezing, absolutely insane. With that Sludge buff, Grumpig, yeah. Dusknoir, Togetic, Primeape, and Diggersby, right? So more of the same old, minus the new sort of Jumpluff with double flying move and then Tinkaton there. So I started with Jumpluff because I'm like, okay, what do you build with Jumpluff? And of course you cover your steel weakness, right? You cover your steel, you cover your fire, you cover your Anything that will resist flying, rock. What's a great way to answer that? Marowak or Lapras has water, and both are actually you're double to rock here with Lapras, but like water hit super effective, ground resist, so you have enough answers here. And Marowak is like a 2-shield beast, and Lapras is just insane with the spam on Sparkling Aria there, and it's such a hard-hitting move. So I think that it is going to be a very strong pairing, like all around here. Just three meta Pokemon, spam, bulk, and just a lot of coverage with that team. So that's, I think, one that I'll probably test out pretty early. Now, Tinkatong's an interesting one. So what it did, the pairing on Tinkatong was you can do one or two things. So Gastrodon is an obvious one for your sort of general steals, right? When you get to, I'm trying to like, not even CS/, you can hit neutral because it's half ice, but like other steals, I must say, we haven't seen like Reggie in a while. I guess there's not a ton of steals in the thing, but just anything that resists their charge move, which is, again, Fairy and Steel. So anything that resists that, which again is a lot of steel and stuff. So that's why I put Gastrodon in to deal with that. And then Gastrodon weak to grass, double, and then Steel resist grass. And then put in Mandibuzz also because like some of the other steals that I just mentioned is like Corviknight, where it's just like crap, okay, you got a steal, but it's also flyer. So Gastrodon is going to have problems with that. So Mandibuzz is enough that it has the bulk to deal with a lot of things. As you can see here, watch out for the fairies and stuff, but what are you going to do but that? You got the steel to deal with the fairies, you got the flying and steel to deal with the grass, so they cover each other's weaknesses enough. Got some bulk, got some spam in Mandibuzz, so it should not be too bad. Okay, old teams that I've seen or used. You're going to see a Ferret team tomorrow. I had to use it because when you guys submit teams to me, it seems like Ferret was on. I think I probably had like 15 Great League submissions and 10 to 11 had Ferret on it. And I was like, okay, what the heck? And then I used it and I did great with it. I'm like, okay, so maybe this thing does have a lot of play. And it does. Just because Sucker Punch is a good, even though it's not stab, it's a great move. Only 10 to a Swift, and then you can boost that Sucker Punch, and then you only have one weakness in fighting, and there's not a lot of fighters. So it just makes sense. But if you're weak to fighting, cover that weakness with Wheezing to resist the fighting. Marowak as your 2-shield safe swap beast. Emolga, like again, Emolga, Lapras, Dusknoir. This is one that you could just easily replace. Instead of having Emolga, you can replace it with Jumpluff, right? More or less plays the same, sort of the same, like pretty much the same. Obviously, you're gonna have a little more coverage with if you're in double flying and you're gonna have electric here. You have more for like water and stuff, but you have the acrobatics as well on this. Although it will not hurt as much as Shadow Jumpluff because of that shadow damage. But then you have your Lapras and Dusknoir in the back. This Dusknoir with Hex as opposed to Astonish. I think if you're going to use Dusknoir with Astonish, you probably want to switch this up to Jumpluff for sure, because Dusknoir with Astonish is a little slower on the charge, and you will need to use shields for that. Morpeko, Credilli. Credilli, 1, Credilli is freaking everywhere. 2, it deserves to be everywhere. It is extremely, extremely strong. 3, Rock Tomb is thrown 99.99% of times. Even if Grass Knot super effective, I've seen matchups where like I forget what Pokemon where it's like Grass Knot was super effective and Rock Tomb would be like resisted. Maybe it's neutral and resisted. Either way, whenever I see Rock Tomb resisted against Fighter, against Ground, people still throw Rock Tomb. They want to lower your attack. So just be aware that when you're going against Credillis, more often than not, they are throwing the Rock Tomb at you, and you can like adjust accordingly. Like I remember having a Jellicent and the people throwing Rock Tomb. I remember having a Clodsire and people throwing Rock Tomb. I remember having a fighter like Primeape and people throwing Rock Tomb. Like people just want that attack lowering. It's a psychological thing, I think. 'Cause I get it. Like especially if you can get that bait off. If you throw Rock Tomb, they're same like timing. So if you can get that Rock Tomb off and lower and get a shield and lower their attack, it's fantastic, right? Because especially if you get like 2 lowering of the attack, it really forces your opponent to like make a switch there, which gives you switch advantage. So I get it, but like sometimes you can throw Grass Knot people. And then Morpeko is just so fun and so hard hitting, but needs some shields. And yeah, this is one that I used with Primeape, Credillia, and Dusclops. Dusclops gives you, with Hex, Shadow Punch, Ice Punch, an insane amount of spam and more bulk than Dusknoir, which you need the bulk when you're going to run Primeape, right? So Primeape, obviously going to have... This team's a little weak to like Wiggly, because Wiggly is the Charmer and normal typing. Dusclops is going to have trouble with that. But, Primeape is a beast with the close combat, so it's like Nuke, Credillia is a safe swap, or even Dusclops with the spam there as your safe swap. So, yeah, we'll get back into Great League. We'll definitely look at my Ferret team that I used tomorrow. Did very, very well with it, so I'll do that tomorrow morning. There's an event on Thursday, so we'll go over that tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll do a ton of Great League this week. And I finally set up my first... I have to reach out to him again, but Poke Daxi and I were going to do I'm going to do those interviews with other content creators. Poke Daxi, I already talked to him. He says he's down, so we're going to shoot one later this weekend and then showcase it later. So stay tuned for those. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.